My boss and I got stranded on a deserted island after our yacht
We had a
crashed.
baby out here.
3 months in, we had sex on the beach.
Now we have to face her
9
husband.
months later, she gave birth to my son in a hut I built. I was 24, she was 36. We lived there 2 years with our child. Then we were rescued. Her husband had been searching the whole time. He spent 2 years and $1 million trying to find her. DNA tests proved the baby was mine, not his. I destroyed their 15-year marriage because we were stranded together. Welcome to Ryan's Revelations, where we bring you true stories of affairs, forbidden love, and the destruction that follows when isolation makes you forget reality. What you about to hear is the confession of a 24-year-old assistant who had an affair with his married CEO boss on a deserted island. A woman who said she was unhappy. A woman who got pregnant with his child. A woman whose husband never stopped looking for her. This is a story about how survival situations create false intimacy, how having a child together doesn't justify adultery, and how being rescued from an island means facing everything you destroyed back home. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications. We post 3 times a week with true betrayal stories about affairs and the consequences that follow. This story gets complicated. Intense. Real. Let's begin. My name is Liam Davis. I'm 24, living in a cramped Brooklyn apartment. Working as an assistant at Blake Capital in New York, my days are fetching coffee, scheduling meetings, trying not to mess up in front of the higher-ups. My boss is Victoria Blake, the CEO. At 36, she's the definition of power. Slim, always in sharp black suits, dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, eyes that could freeze you in place. She runs the company like a machine, no small talk, no mistakes tolerated. Everyone calls her the Ice Queen. I keep my head down, follow orders. Hope she never notices how out of my depths I feel. Then came the business trip that changed everything. We were supposed to fly to Miami for a big client meeting. The flight got canceled because of a massive storm brewing off the coast. We'll take a private yacht, Victoria said flatly. Delays cost clients. I'm not great with boats, and the weather reports looked bad. But who was I to argue with the boss? We boarded that afternoon from a marina in New Jersey. Just the 2 of us plus a small crew. A few hours in, everything went to hell. The sky darkened from gray to black, winds howled. Waves crashed over the deck, slamming the yacht side to side. Everyone to life jackets! The captain shouted. Then came the crash, a sickening grind of metal on rock. The yacht had hit a submerged reef. Water flooded the lower decks in seconds. Alarms blared. People screamed. I stumbled onto the deck and saw Victoria clinging to the rail, suit soaked, hair plastered to her head. "Liam, get to the rafts!" she yelled. But a massive wave knocked her overboard. Without thinking, I dove after her. The water was freezing. Salt burned my eyes. Waves pulled me under. I surfaced, gasping, spotted her a few yards away, flailing. "Victoria!" I swam toward her with everything I had. I reached her, hauled her onto a small inflatable raft that had broken free from the yacht. She coughed up water, face pale. "Are you okay?" She nodded weakly. We clung to the raft as the storm raged. The yacht disappeared into the darkness behind us. We drifted for days. Maybe 3, maybe 4. No food, just rainwater we caught in our hands. Sun blistering our skin during the day. Bone-chilling cold at night. "We'll make it," Victoria said once, voice weaker than I'd ever heard. I nodded, but inside I was terrified. On what I think was the 3rd morning, land appeared. A strip of white sand fringed with thick jungle. We paddled with our hands until the raft scraped bottom. Stumbled ashore, collapsed onto the beach. We were alive, but the relief didn't last. The island was tiny. Dense forest inland, rocky cliffs on one side. No signs of people. No buildings, no smoke, no paths. Just birds screeching and waves crashing. Victoria tried to take charge. "We need shelter on the beach." "Build something to signal for help." I shook my head. "The beach is too exposed. We need fresh water first." "Head inland," we argued. Her insisting on visibility for rescue, me on basics like water and food. In the end, we split up. I headed into the forest to build a lean-to. She stayed on the beach piling rocks. That first night was hell. I heard Victoria coughing from her spot on the beach. No fire, no warmth. Part of me wanted to check on her. But pride kept me put. The next morning, I found her shelter collapsed. Wind had destroyed it overnight. She sat huddled in the ruins, arms wrapped around her knees, clothes damp, crusted with sand. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked small. I extended my hand. Come on, my spot's drier. We can share it. She hesitated, like admitting she needed help was the hardest thing she'd done. Thank you, Liam, she said quietly. It was the first time she'd used my first name. We moved to my shelter. It wasn't much branches and palm leaves, but it was protected by trees. That's when things started to shift between us. We worked together, building a better hut, finding fresh water, setting fish traps, foraging for fruit. The office hierarchy melted away. We were just two people trying to survive. Late at night, we'd sit by the fire and talk, really talk. She told me about her life, how she'd built Blake Capital from nothing, how lonely it was at the top. Everyone sees the CEO, she said. Nobody sees me. I see you, I said. She looked at me, something soft in her eyes. You're the first person who has in a long time. 1 month in, something changed. We'd been fishing at the lagoon. Victoria caught a big one and we celebrated like kids. That night, sitting by the fire, she moved closer to me. Liam, she said softly, can I ask you something? Anything. Do you ever think about what life would be like if we weren't stuck here, if we'd met differently? All the time. She reached over, took my hand. I've been unhappy for a long time. Before the crash, before the island. I was just going through the motions. What do you mean? She took a deep breath. I'm married, Liam. The words hit like a punch. What? His name is Marcus. We've been married 15 years. But it's been dead for the last 5. He works in finance, travels constantly. We barely speak. We're roommates who share a last name. Why didn't you tell me? Because out here it doesn't matter, that life, that marriage, it's 1,000 miles away. This is real. You and me surviving together. This matters. Victoria, you're still married. To a man I haven't loved in years. A man who probably thinks I'm dead. If we ever get rescued, I'll leave him. But right now, I just want to feel alive. She leaned in and kissed me. I should have pulled away. Should have said we needed to wait until she was divorced, but I kissed her back. That night, on the beach under the stars, we crossed every line. Afterward, lying in the sand, she cried. What's wrong? I asked. I just cheated on my husband on a deserted island with my 24-year-old assistant. You said your marriage was dead. It is. But that doesn't make this not adultery. Then we'll deal with it if we're rescued. Together. She looked at me, eyes glistening. Promise me something. If we get off this island, we'll be honest about us, no hiding, no shame. We'll face whatever comes. I promise. 6 months into our time on the island, 3 months after the affair started, Victoria told me she was pregnant. We were sitting by the fire when she said it. Liam, I'm late. Like really late, and I've been nauseous every morning. My heart stopped. Pregnant? Are you sure? I'm pretty sure. My body feels different, and we haven't exactly been careful. Oh my God. She grabbed my hand. Are you okay with this? Because I am. Having a baby with you, even here, it feels right. I'm terrified, but yeah, I'm okay with it. There's something you should know, she said quietly. Marcus and I tried for years to have a baby. We did IVF, spent hundreds of thousands, nothing worked. The doctors said I probably couldn't get pregnant naturally. And now here, with you. It's a miracle, or proof that this is meant to be. I built a better hut, reinforced walls, a proper roof. Made it safer for when the baby came. Victoria glowed. Despite the hardship, she was radiant. We talked to her belly every night. When we're rescued, I'd say, we'll give this baby everything. A real home. A real life. And we'll be a family, she'd add. The 3 of us. 1 year after the crash, 12 months on that island, Victoria gave birth to our son. The labor was brutal. Hours of pain, no medical help, just me and prayers. When he finally came, red-faced and wailing, I wrapped him in clean cloth and handed him to Victoria. Our son, she whispered, tears streaming. We named him Evan. That night, holding my son, watching Victoria nurse him, I felt complete. If we never leave, I said, I'd still be the luckiest man alive. We made it, Liam, all 3 of us. Time moved differently on the island. Evan grew fast. We built a life. I taught him to fish. Victoria taught him about plants. We were a family. 2 years passed. Evan was talking, walking, laughing. The island was home. Then, one morning, we saw it. A boat on the horizon. Victoria spotted it first. Liam, a boat! We ran to the beach, waving, screaming, lighting our signal fire. The boat changed course, headed toward us. We're being rescued, Victoria said, tears in her eyes. It's over. Yeah, I said, holding Evan. It's over. But I felt dread in my stomach. Because being rescued meant going back to reality. Back to Marcus. Back to the world where Victoria was my married boss and I'd gotten her pregnant. The rescue boat arrived. Coast Guard, they've been searching for us for 2 years. Victoria Blake? The captain asked. Yes, that's me. Ma'am, your husband has been searching for you this entire time. He never gave up. He's waiting for you in Miami. Victoria's face went pale. She looked at me, at Evan in my arms. This is Liam Davis, she said, my colleague. And this is our son, Evan. The captain's expression changed. Confused, then understanding. Your son? Ma'am, you were only missing 2 years. This child is mine, Victoria said firmly. Ours. We were taken to Miami, medical checks, debriefing, media circus. Marcus was there. Tall, well-dressed, mid-40s. He'd lost weight, looked exhausted. When he saw Victoria, he broke down crying. Thank God you're alive. He moved to hug her, but she stepped back. Marcus, we need to talk. Later, right now, we need to talk now. She told him everything, the island. The survival, the relationship, the baby. His face went from relief to confusion to devastation. You had a baby? With him? He looked at me, holding Evan. With your assistant? Yes. How do you know it's his? How do you know it's not mine? Because we haven't had sex in 3 years, Marcus? And Liam and I were alone on that island for 6 months before Evan was conceived. So you cheated on me. While you were stranded. While I was spending every penny I had searching for you, you were fucking your assistant and having his baby. Our marriage was over before the crash. That's not for you to decide alone. We had vows, Victoria. 15 years of marriage. 15 years of you working 80 hours a week and barely speaking to me. Marcus turned to me. How old are you? 24. 24. Jesus Christ. My wife had an affair with a 24-year-old. It wasn't like that, I started. Then what was it like? Explain to me how sleeping with my wife and getting her pregnant isn't exactly what it looks like. Victoria stepped between us. Marcus, I want a divorce. I'm sorry. I know this is horrible. But I love Liam. We have a son together. I can't pretend this didn't happen. Marcus's lawyer insisted on DNA tests to prove Evan was mine, not his. The results came back, 99.9% probability. Evan was mine. The media had a field day. CEO has baby with assistant while stranded. On island, deserted island affair destroys 15-year marriage, Blake capital boss. Caught in survival scandal. Marcus filed for divorce immediately. Cited adultery. The settlement was brutal. Victoria lost everything. He had proof of the affair. She got minimal support, lost most of their assets. Blake Capital's board forced her to resign. Moral turpitude clause. She was out. And me? I lost my job too. Obviously. Can't work at a company after having an affair with the CEO. We tried to make it work. Victoria, Evan, and me. Tried to be the family we'd been on the island. But reality was harder than survival. Victoria was broke, unemployed, her reputation destroyed. I was 26 with no job and a 2-year-old son. The media wouldn't leave us alone. Every time we went out, cameras. Questions, judgment. How does it feel to destroy a marriage? Do you regret the affair? Was the island baby worth it? 6 months after the rescue, Victoria and I broke up. Not because we didn't love each other, but because the guilt was crushing us both. Every time she looked at Evan, she saw what we'd done. The marriage we destroyed. The life Marcus had lost while searching for her. I can't do this, she said one night, crying. I thought love would be enough, but I see Marcus's face every day. I destroyed a man who spent 2 years and $1 million trying to find me, and I repaid him by having another man's baby. We fell in love, on an island where I was your boss. Where you were 24 and I was 36. Where I was married and vulnerable and you were there. Was it real love or survival instinct? It was real to me. Maybe it was, but it cost everything. My marriage, my career, my reputation, your job, your future. And Evan will grow up knowing he's the baby from the affair. The island baby. The reason his mom's marriage ended. We split custody. Evan spends weeks with her, weeks with me. We're cordial, cooperative, but not together. Marcus remarried last year. Someone from his world, I saw the announcement. He looks happy. Victoria works part-time at a small consulting firm. Nothing like Blake Capital. She's rebuilding slowly. And me? I'm 27, working freelance finance gigs, raising my son part-time. Trying to explain someday why mommy and daddy met on an island. Why we're not together. Why grandma and grandpa, his other grandparents, won't speak to us. People ask if I regret it. Regret the affair, the baby, everything. I look at Evan and I can't regret him. He's incredible, smart, funny, full of life. But I regret how he came to be. I regret that his existence is tied to adultery, to destroyed marriages, to survival circumstances that made us forget reality. Being stranded doesn't justify sleeping with someone's wife. Having a child together doesn't make an affair noble. And survival situations create false intimacy that can't survive real life. I learned that the hardest way possible. So what do you think? Was Liam wrong for having an affair with his married boss on a deserted island? Or does survival change the rules? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment and tell me. Number 1, does being stranded justify an affair? Number 2, should Victoria have waited to be rescued before starting anything with Liam? Number 3, is Evan a product of true love or survival instinct? And number 4, would you have done the same in their situation? This is a safe space. Share your truth. If this story affected you, watch these next. Stranded with my boss's wife. Another survival affair. The baby that destroyed my marriage. Similar pregnancy scandal. We fell in love in crisis. Affairs born from trauma. Check the description or click the videos now. If you made it to the end, you understand that survival situations don't justify adultery. That being isolated together doesn't make someone available? That having a child with a married person destroys more than just a marriage. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We post 3 times a week with true confession stories about affairs and betrayal. And smash that like button if you want more honest stories about the mistakes we make when crisis makes us forget our morals. Thank you for watching this Ryan's Revelations exclusive. This was a true story about deserted islands, married bosses, and babies born from affairs disguised as survival. Remember, being stranded together doesn't make someone yours. Survival circumstances create false intimacy. And having a child with a married person means that child grows up as evidence of betrayal. Until next time, this is Ryan's Revelations, bringing you the truth about love, lies, and the affairs that destroy families. Stay strong. Stay moral. And remember that isolation doesn't erase marriage vows.